What's good, everybody? Fall is officially here. Pete here, Spawn Fly Fish, and yes, of course, we are getting ready for the upcoming salmon season, leading into steelhead and all that. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves and forget about some of the best trout fishing of the year. So that's what we're going to do today. Give a little throwback to catching more trout. So grab your vise, grab your tools. Let's have some fun. Let's kick things off today with the Ahrex FW561. This one happens to be size 8. For this beautiful bead, I do have the gritty tungsten bead in Peacock. And this is a 5/32. And then I've just got 6 wraps of 0.025 lead-free wire to hold that bead in place. And I'm going to start some 6/0 thread now. 140, all that good stuff, whatever is your favorite, probably going to work just fine. Just get some solidifying wraps here on those weighted wires. Again, just to prevent any sort of movement rolling from one side to the other. And then I'm going to give myself a very slight indicator of where I want that tail to be tied in. And let me move back up a little. We're going to tie a version of the Alexandra today, but this one specifically is one I really enjoy fishing in the fall. Again, you're going to get into some rain and different things that throw that color off colored water even, and so you have like a stain in the water, maybe a little brown, a little green, different whatever. Sometimes you get just a bump of dirtiness from more rain, and you need something a little darker to stand out in that condition. Blue is my favorite way to do that. Black is another good way. Purple, of course, is always an option. But today we're going to focus on some blues. And let's get started with a little bit of a tail. Just got some Marabou here in dark turquoise. And I'm just going to pinch the end of this here, and I'll show you. So I'm going to use my thumbnail to create a little spot. See all those uneven ends? I don't want to cut those. I just want to tear where that is. So now I have even ends that don't look cut. That's a big deal, especially for us as fly tiers, because go in and cut, and yeah, of course they're all going to be uniform, but in nature you don't find a uniform cut like that. So just rip them, and that's going to be a much more pleasing and natural look to the fish. So I'm going to transfer roughly 1 shank length here and just get it started, and then I'll work my way back down to that little spot that I gave myself, knowing where to finish tying down my tail, like so. And that's ever so slightly a little bit long. I mean, barely. So there's the fix. Go in and make another pinch. Easy enough. Just want to keep an even underbody sort of mentality going here. So I'm going to finish wrapping these quills, or fibers off the quill, I should say, up to where those weighted wires are situated and where those meet. Now we're going to start, of course, creating a slightly more aesthetically pleasing underbody that is uniform. And at this point, of course, you can come in and get rid of some of that goofiness too, but we've got some other stuff to do, so eventually this will all sort of smash down and even out. So a little bit of highlight that I'm going to put into this. This is one of my favorite materials in the world. And this is Peacock sword. So slightly different from the Peacock eyed sticks, of course. But as far as having that iridescence that is just so difficult to beat, each way you turn that is going to give a different sort of effect of blue to green, and that peacock coloration can't be beat. So I'm going to tie 3 of these fibers in right on top of our Marabou stubby tail. And sometimes they play nice, sometimes they don't play as nice, but get them as situated as much on top as you can. And I'm just going to show you like the underside there, or top side view, and you'll see that that's going to give a little highlight to that tail. And again, just to keep things nice and neat, I want to trim those so that they also meet up to the back side of that weighted wire. Not quite as important as getting that Marabou in that situation, but Again, just doing due diligence here. Nothing to it. So now let's tie in a rib. And this is where you're going to have to possibly sub in a material. This is some silk thread in an aquamarine sort of color. And I'm just going to tie that on to the top and tie it all the way back to where our peacock sword is tied in. And then I'm going to come up toward the bead and just leave that silk thread hanging there. And again, this is where you could sub in a little bit of small wire. You know, anything that you have that would work as a rib is going to be just fine. So now for the body material itself, I've got saltwater Flashabou, and this is holographic blue. So you can see we're going to have a lot of blue in this fly. And if you know me, I am a huge fan of that. I've got a lot of blue flies in all my boxes, and it doesn't matter the species, I will always have a blue version of something available. Just going to slip that thread in front. I'm going to come in now with just a very small amount of super glue gel. That was a big amount. We don't need all that. Get rid of some of that. And now I'm going to just kind of move around the little bit here, smear it around. We don't want any big dollop or puddle of super glue anywhere on there. Now that that's on, we're going to wrap this saltwater Flashabou back and then forward again. So it'll be a double wrap, and that will just ensure the fullest coverage possible here. Is it necessary? Nope, you can get by with just one layer, but I'm tying these to make myself happy, and this is how I like to do them. So now I'm reversing that, just a very slight angle here on those wraps. Hopefully you guys are still with me, and I mean to move that all around in there. And just continue all the way to the front. So these are overlapping wraps, you can see. And the overall effect, of course, is that we just have a very solid blue underbody going on right there. And that's exactly what we want. A couple wraps to get the Flashabou, and then we're going to pull it back on itself and take a couple wraps, and then it traps so that nothing can move. Even after a couple toothy critters get on this thing, that flash is not going to come undone or slip out. And that's a good thing. We want that. So now we've got this silk thread. We'll just get it started, and we're going to do evenly spaced wraps here, looking for roughly 5 body segments out of this. It doesn't have to be exact by any means, but body segmentation does matter. Fish like it, so we'll put it in there. Pretty pleasing to the eye as well. So you can already see, and if you needed a damsel sort of variant, well, this would get her done pretty quickly for you. We're not even done tying it yet. You can already see the application. So again, this is not a new pattern necessarily. It's a slightly different way of tying it, of course. But that's, to me, what makes this such a fun endeavor, meaning tying flies. There's no end. Once you've tied 100 patterns, now go retie all 100 patterns, change just one thing. You could do this endlessly and never get bored, at least not in my mind. So now I've got some Peacock Herl, and this is off of an eyed stick. So just going to wrap that back, kind of visualize roughly 1.5 beads up to 2 beads worth of thoracic area here. I'm going to call that about 1.5 beads. Not crazy, but enough that this is going to provide some substance, and it's going to do a couple things. It's going to act as a post for us in the next couple steps and give that thoracic area that is so prominent in so many different bugs. And yeah, it's peacock. So guess what? Peacock catches fish. I'll just say it. A lot of you know it, maybe some of you don't, but if you're wondering, is there a natural material out there that fish can't refuse? And yeah, it's peacock. That's at least one of them. So I'm twisting those Herls, and then I'm twisting in between each wrap as well, just to keep them nice and strong as possible. So that's 3 pieces twist it into one, and it gives it a much fuller effect, 360, and that's exactly what we want. So now, let's give this some highlight. Let's have a little fun. I've got some blue goose biots, and they don't come from a blue goose. These come from a regular goose that are dyed blue after they've been bleached. I'm just going to come onto the side here, and I'm going to do my side first. I'm just going right along the body line, give that a couple wraps, check my work, undo one, and if I want to reposition, slide that up just a touch. And all I'm looking for here is that this biot reaches the end of the body. I don't want to go too far past that. And if you do this, it just gives a nice, pleasant sort of wing, hatching wing look. And that's what we want. So there's your side. Get a couple really strong wraps in there. And now let's go for the really fun highlight, and let's get back into this peacock sword. And again, going for 3 fibers, but I'm going down toward the bottom of the feather, and I want these 3 fibers to be longer than the 3 that I used for the tail highlight or accent. So there you can see this stuff does have a natural curvature to it. I'm going to get these biots somewhat out of my way. And what I want to do now is sort of try to keep that curvature. You can see if you even look at these things wrong, they're going to move on you. Is it the end of the world? Nope, it is truly not. So get them in position as best you can. And take one wrap on the top and then pull straight down. Do it again. And now kind of give these guys a little look. And you can see 2 out of 3 are going to play really well. And then there's one that's just going to go a little bit goofy. I'm okay with this. Here's why. We're going to put a hackle collar on here. If these are all lined up and this is slicked down in the water, great. It's going to catch a bunch of fish. But because of this one being slightly errant and it's going to want to pop up a little, it's just going to breathe more. And so if this is a showcase fly, by all means, get in there and work those fibers, make them all line up pretty, and then put this fly in a little case. This fly is not going in a case. This one's getting fished. There is a slight difference there. So I will take that. I'm not saying it's incorrect. I'm just saying it's going to fish better. Now I've got a unique variant hen saddle feather, and if you don't have something crazy like that, black feather would work. Schlappen would work just fine. Again, this is where you get to be a little creative. Sometimes we have the right stuff. Sometimes we're missing one element. It's not the end of the world. This is as fly tires. We get to be creative, but we get cranky when we have to be creative. If we keep that in mind, maybe we'll be less cranky and just grab something and tie some flies that still catch fish. Let the fish be the judge. There we go. Trim that as neat as you can. Not one fiber stuck on that gritty. There we go. Like so. Now we'll bring this feather up and get those fibers all moving back together toward the hook bend. And now we're going to take 2 wraps here, all the fibers. And the first one, we want to keep it pretty close to our thoracic area. And then that second one will just come in right in front of it. Forgive my fingers for a second. Just keeping those fibers together as we train this feather to do what we want it to do. I see my tie-off point there, so I'll get a clean V that separates the fibers here, working fibers, non-working fibers, at the quill. Turn that ever so slightly just for my own visual cue so I can see where that thread is moving. A lot of times we get in a hurry and we think because we've tied so many flies or whatever it might be, we don't need to see as much. I can tell you when you're done and you go, oof, wonder what happened there. Did I sneeze? Did I hiccup? Nah, you probably got a little complacent and just went, I've done this before. I bet you that thread's going right where I need it. And then you realize maybe it was slightly off or at an angle, whatever it might be. The point is this: just watch what you're doing. If you're having trouble getting neater, cleaner flies and they just never seem to improve, take a breath, slow down, watch every little movement. I bet you'll find that there's something you've been doing which you didn't even realize you were doing. And especially with the scissor. If you're cutting and you can't see what you're cutting, you are just asking for a tragedy. Let's get a whip finish here. Enough of my yapping. There's one. And again, we're fishing this. I already know what's going to happen to this poor little fly. And he's going to get chewed on and nibbled on. So let's give him 2 whip finishes just so he can stand a fighting chance. Again, I wouldn't go ahead and cut that thread if I wasn't watching what I was doing. So why would I cut any other material? I want to take that mindset into my thread control, my material placement. You get a better fly at the end, in my opinion anyway. So now let's coat all of our hard work. Got some Loon, hard head clear, and we're just going to get a nice, even, thin layer of cement around all of our thread wraps. So this, again, an Alexandra variant, and yes, I am obsessed with that fly. But again, just showing you, you don't have to completely reinvent anything here. Maybe just tying a familiar fly and some different colors, and it becomes a whole different insect sort of deal. So there you go. Fish that as a damsel. You could fish it as a searching nymph, whatever you want to do. And I'm going to tell you, this thing will probably get some action yet this week. I hope you guys had some fun. I sure did. I always enjoy our time together. But if you could do me a favor, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and we will see you all on the water.